Hi, Reggie back speaking about healing America's narratives, the feminine, the masculine, and our collective national shadow becoming more fully human. So we've been speaking about the 9 traits of the collective American shadow. We've covered so far ignorance, arrogance, fear, and bigotry. And today we're going to take a look at violence, probably spend 2 episodes on violence. I'm going to begin, and I rarely read from the book, but I'm going to read from the book today, just to begin with a quote from a representative of the United States Congress. I'm not going to name him because I don't want to pick on an individual representative. What he said was echoed by many people on both the American left and right, both Republicans and Democrats. So this is post 9/11, when they were voting on whether to give President George W. Bush pretty much carte blanche to do whatever he needed to do with our military in order to pursue those who had perpetrated the 9/11 attacks. All right. So, quote, "I rise today in support of this resolution to authorize the use of United States armed forces against those responsible for the recent attacks launched against the United States. Civilized society has long sought to end the use of violence, but the perpetrators of terrorism and states that harbor them are the enemies of civilized society. They only understand the use of force, and the time has come to speak to them on their own terms." End quote. So the book continues, in my words now, in my writing, a comment on that quote from this representative. "How then might we reconcile this language of civilized society with our killing of civilians at Wounded Knee, our being the United States military, in Tulsa, Dresden, Tokyo, Hiroshima, Nagasaki, Vietnam, Afghanistan, Iraq, in Littleton, Atlanta, Orlando, Charleston, Newtown, Pittsburgh, Charlotte, Red Lake, Annapolis, Las Vegas, Minneapolis, Buffalo, Uvalde, and so on." So just to be clear, then obviously, when I'm naming the cities where gun violence occurred, we're not speaking about the United States military there. That's just American citizens doing that to each other, and including the Tulsa, Oklahoma race massacre. So the use of the words civilized, terrorists are not civilized. They only understand violence. We, in this representative's words, are civilized, but we have to respond to these terrorists through violence and force, since it's the only language that they understand. Right? That's the perfect manifestation of the projection that accompanies any example of shadow. In this case, the collective national shadow of the United States. So that's a really uncomfortable realization, reality, truth to look at. Okay. Those people are violent. We're not. Right? But in fact, we are. Is everybody in the United States violent? No. Is it just the military? No. Do they exist for a reason? Yes. Right? Is it just law enforcement? No. Do they exist for a reason? Yes. Should some of them not be in, have a badge and a gun and a cruiser? Absolutely. But the vast majority of them, do good work. What about all the civilians who on a daily basis in the United States kill each other? Right? So the goal in working with shadow is to recognize that we all have all of this. And until we own and integrate our own violent tendencies, capacities, and in fact, history, we're going to continue to point to other people and then use violence because we believe it's the only way that we, as civilized folks, can respond to them. Right? That won't stop on its own. Right? And again, it results from ignorance, some degree of arrogance, fear of the other, and bigotry. Not all violence has all 4 of those traits preceding it, but much of it does. So again, thank you for tuning in. We'll continue with at least one more episode with a deeper dive into violence, and I'll see you the next time.